and welcome to Toffees Victoria. We're back after another match day of seeing Everton. We've got Nick, Chris, and Tim, and myself, Andy. How have we been, boys? Good?
Very good.
Yeah, not too
good
bad.
after that.
Yes, very
Good
good.
to be back to winning ways.
Definitely.
Take the 3 points.
That's right. Yep. So let's get on to it. We're changing a bit of the formation, you could say, with discussing the games. So let's get on to the game. So yeah, let's talk about the lineup. What's everyone's thoughts? We'll start with Nick.
Yeah, a bit of a strange one. I think whenever we see Iwobi starting, I think everyone's up in arms a bit, and I think with playing three at the back and him playing Iwobi at sort of a wing back, I think we're all sort of thought the worst of that, and not having Kenny anywhere near the squad and Gordon as well. It was a bit of a alarm bell started ringing. However, it was good to see Richarlison and James and Alan back, even though they've been inexplicably on international duty. I think the alarm bells were there for me. I did think they might be quite tired, but yeah, I think that was probably the strongest team we could have put out with the players available to us, I would say. Tim, what about you?
Yeah, it was an interesting one. I've been saying through the week that I hoped Kenny got a run in instead of Gordon at right back, because I didn't think Gordon was very good at right back, particularly against I think it was Southampton where he started there.
You mean
so what I saw, sorry,
you're saying Godfrey at right back?
Yes.
I thought
you said Gordon.
Oh, sorry, I meant Godfrey. Yeah. Well, Gordon might have been better than Godfrey, but. Yeah, so when I saw the lineup, the hour before kickoff, it didn't actually show the formation. So I was sort of guessing at what it would be, and I sort of thought we were going to a 4-2-3-1, with Godfrey playing at right back, Alan and Decore in the middle, and then either James or Iwobi on the 10 and on the right wing. So then when we got to the bar to watch the game, and they put the actual formation up at the start of the game, I thought, oh, okay, that's very interesting. Iwobi at right wing back. I too was sort of a bit nervous about it. Look, I like the idea of trying out a new formation because we do need a plan B. The 4-3-3 is not always going to work. So I guess if you're going to try it, it might as well be against Fulham. It was certainly interesting. I don't think it improved us defensively that much, but I think there were some underlying reasons for that as well. And certainly it didn't hinder us going forward was a good sign. What about yourself, Chris?
I thought it was a bit interesting. I thought, and I actually said this to Tim on the way to the bar, I thought Holgate may not have played due to, obviously he's come back from quite a long injury, and, he only got 90 minutes under his belt and then had a week off. So I thought, Holgate might not play this game, and it turned out that he didn't. So, I think if Holgate was in that team instead of Godfrey, we may have been a little bit stronger at the back. But, other than that, horses for courses, he's tried something. I don't mind the three at the back when we have Richarlison in the team, because that still allows Digne to get forward, because Richarlison can track back and help, and does track back and help. I was a little worried with Iwobi at wing back, because, to be honest, I don't really think he's the quickest and the most defensive player. However, he played really, really well. He had a blinder. So we will get to that. But yeah. There's a few players in and around the squad that I'm not sure why they're there, and I'm not sure why others aren't there. I'd love to be privy to when Carlo sits down and picks his match day squads. It's a bit interesting that certain players aren't getting a game here and there. And, three at the back, we won. That's all that really matters. And, we have to trust Carlo. He's obviously seen something that he needed to work on, and he's gone for it. And for most of the match, for at least half the game, it was playing really well. And then I think some fatigue sort of kicked in late in the match, and, we held on, but win's a win, and we move on. Andy, what did you think?
I was quite surprised when I actually Yeah, more of the formation, less of the lineup. Lineup, I knew Iwobi was going to come in. But yeah, seeing him playing on the right was, didn't see that coming. But and yeah, like you've said, he handled it well. But yeah, we'll talk more about it. But yeah, hey, if this is like a new thing he's going to try, to sort of, get us to win games, I'm all for it. But as we saw in the second half, we kind of, slacked off again. So it'll take time. Yeah. Well, with that, let's
I do
talk
wonder
about.
though, but
Yeah.
do you think it was an attempt to solidify our defense, guys? Or do you think it was more just a case of not wanting Gomez or Sigurdsson anywhere near that starting 11 and not trusting other players enough to stick with the 4-3-3?
Probably more of the latter. And I don't think Holgate, even though he's obviously his first game back against United, I don't think he covered himself in glory. So I think it's probably more of the latter in the sense that he doesn't think players are quite at the standard or quite
Yeah.
ready to play.
Mm.
I would hope that if it was to solidify the defense, that why are you doing that against Fulham? Why don't we just attack Fulham and wave after wave? They're the worst defense or the second worst defense in the Premier League. So I would hope that it's a horse's.
Are we the worst?
I think we are.
We do concede quite a lot, but I would really hope that it's not let's shut up shop, because if we're shutting up shop against Fulham and playing 3 at the back, which realistically is more of a 5, and we're doing that against Fulham, imagine what it's going to be like against other teams that have a little bit better other than Fulham. Yeah. So it's just, to me, if that was the case, it's a negative change. If
you want to test a new formation, though, you're better off doing it against a Fulham than a stronger team. So
it's very, very, very true. But I would have thought, you're going to Fulham, newly promoted team, conceding lots of goals. You want to attack them as much as possible. And with 3 at the back, you're not really doing that if you're playing, our sort of, standard 4-3-3.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, let's get on to the first half. Champagne football, I would say. Incredible stuff. Like,
it was, some of it was just was unbelievable, and I know he didn't have the best of games, but just having James there, even if he's ambling around, even if he's got a bit of jet lag, he hasn't had a siesta for since getting off the plane.
Those long ball passes, man. Oh my gosh.
It's the class above.
Incredible.
And just the Digne bombing down the left. Richarlison was such an obvious miss for us in the last few games. I think he just gave us a different dimension and really stretched their defence. And yeah, the first half, as you say, was champagne football. I thought Iwobi was phenomenal and was a constant threat. I think he put 4 or 5 really good crosses into the box in a row. I think his delivery was spot on 100% of the time. And yeah, other than the sort of laps where Fulham actually played some really good football to get through, which showed a bit of defensive frailty, I thought that we could have been 4, 5, 6 up at half time, and it was really good. And this match actually went out to on terrestrial TV in the UK to BBC One, so I was quite happy about that because people could see us playing Champions League style football, but it was a Jekyll and Hyde performance, but we'll get onto that a bit later. Andy, what was your thoughts on the first half?
Oh, well, I was just saying, and having Richarlison back just really does show how important and what he does by, getting the ball, taking it up forward and bringing in players. And like that pass to Dom when they scored so early was just, it was just like really good tactically, because he kind of like hit the ball off his foot further than, like a heavy touch or something. But like that actually helped him then get to it and then make the crossing to Calvert-Lewin, which was, like I said, really good. But yeah, to score that early, fantastic start. But then, to concede pretty much straight after with some really sloppy defense. I just thought, the back, like this is the stuff of, we're watching the first, was it 5 games? Yeah. Incredible stuff. So we've spoken about Iwobi, but the guy who needs to talk about him a lot more, Tim.
Yeah, well, obviously I've been a staunch Iwobi supporter, and even I was my support was
Wavered a bit though in
wavering.
the last couple of weeks.
I
It wavered
was,
a little bit.
I will admit it, it did waver over the last 3 weeks, and hasn't he come back with a bang at right wing back? Who would have thought? Just an interesting stat. He had the most dribbles for our team and carried the ball the furthest by a long shot, by double, more than double what anyone else in the team did. Which was, and I think that was on display. His runs down that right hand side, and it was opening up space for James on the inside to come in on his left and spray those beautiful balls off the outside of his left over to Dinya. It was a joy to watch at times. Some of the stuff we played. Interesting during the game. Obviously 40 seconds in, wild celebrations at kicks with all three of us, and then. Just between that 10 and 15 minute mark, I reckon it was probably about a minute before they scored. I turned around to Chris and Nikki at Kicks and said, geez, we've gone to sleep a bit here. They're a bit on top. They're doing this 1 and 2 touch passing. They were stroking it around a bit like Madrid. And I thought, we could be in a bit of strife here. And look, I think Mina does have to take the blame for that first goal. I've gone back since and watched the replay, and literally as you see that Decadova read coming through, Mina sort of freezes. He's completely flat-footed. He's not moving towards the ball or the player. It was almost like he thought that Decadova read was left-footed and was going to touch it inside, so he stayed where he was. But then obviously he went just zoomed past him.
Yeah.
And, Mina quickest in his first couple of steps, so it doesn't take much to get past him. So while it was disappointing to concede that goal, to then come back and score 2 more really good goals, and Richarlison had fluffed his lines right in front of goal. That should have been a 4th. And James had another shot from a tight angle, which forced a good save out of the keeper. So there were quite a few more chances. We could have easily had 4 or 5 goals, I think, in that first half. First half performance was, I was wrapped, really. I sort of went into half time thinking, how many more are we going to score in the second half? What about yourself, Chris?
I think we need to make Champions League football next season. Otherwise, we're going to lose 2 of our 3 best players. We're going to lose Richarlison and Luca Dean. The quality that Luca Dean gives at left back is phenomenal. He's one of the best left backs in the Premier League, and he's actually probably nearly overtaken and become the best left back from France, who are obviously world champions. So, week after week he puts in quality balls, and the big difference is now he's got Calvert-Lewin who can finish. He's pretty solid with his head, and and then a great run from Decore for the 3rd goal. But you're all right. The Jekyll and Hyde of Everton. We play really good football for the first sort of 10 minutes. We're well on top, and then we sit. We sort of sit back a little bit and take our foot off the gas, and it says everything that the Premier League is. You can't do that against anybody. I think Fulham were pretty good. They made the best of when we were playing, poor and sitting back and went for it. So kudos to them. They're not going to die wondering. They're probably going to get relegated pretty early in the year, but at least they're having a crack.
Yeah.
I think Iwobi had a really, really good first half. I'll give him credit where credit's due. One, I'll ask back to you, Tim, because you were saying that you think he's that left-sided player, and he got his chance when Richarlison wasn't in the team, and he did nothing. He was pretty poor, really. He's now back on the right-hand side because Richarlison's in, and we saw the quality of ball he put in. Like Nick said, he sort of put in 4 or 5 quality crosses that if another day we probably scored 2 or 3 of them. So on to you, Tim. Do you think he can play that right side and play it better than he did on the left? And do you think he sort of solidified that spot for himself now?
Well, I wouldn't have thought so until this game, to be honest. All his games for Nigeria come at 10, and he seems to excel. Just the most recent international break, he scored a couple of goals in a game for Nigeria playing as number 10. At Arsenal, he was always on the left, coming in on the right. The games he has played for us as a right winger, not a right wing back, but a right winger in previous seasons, he hasn't been very effective. And so I always said, it's because he's playing in the wrong position. But God, who knows where his right position is then? It makes me wonder if maybe it's not a positional thing, maybe it's an attitude thing or a mindset thing with him. He was trusted over, John Joe Kenny or even Holgate in a flat back four, because Holgate, played right back.
Also, if you think about it, even more on a wider point, he was actually trusted more than Theo Walcott, because I think Theo Walcott's gone out on loan as a direct result because of Carlo's trust in Iwobi, because I think it was them two that were going to play, right? And he obviously trusted Iwobi's doing something in training or whatever it is, or he thinks he's a better player, for Theo Walcott to go out who could be turned, he's gone out on loan to effectively a rival of ours in Southampton.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe we didn't think it would be that way, but it has turned out that way. But yeah.
Look, I think he was very good, and I think maybe the key is that he's not the number one man. So maybe having James beside him and James on that same side. If I'm a defender, I'm paying a lot more attention to James, and perhaps that allowed Iwobi a little bit more freedom. But one thing I did notice in the first half, last 3 weeks I've been scratching my head going, why do we miss Richarlison so much? I couldn't figure it out. And everyone would say to me, it's because he works hard and he tracks back. And I don't disagree with that. But what I actually noticed in this game was, and this is probably something that neither Iwobi or Bernard are as good at as Richarlison, it's his forward defensive work that creates a lot of opportunities for us. That's how we got the first goal, his forward pressing. And when I sat back and thought about it, how many goals have we got from a result of him forward pressing and us getting a fast break, whether he gets a goal himself? And the way he does it is very different. He doesn't just close someone down and then just stand in front of them. He gets his body into them. He gets right in there. He throws himself around, as opposed to, a Bernard who's a bit more diminutive, so probably can't do that, or an Iwobi who's just a different player, and even he may work as hard doing that forward press, but once he gets close to a player, he's not really sticking a boot in. Whereas Richarlison's got a bit of pitbull about him in that regard. And in that first half, that is how a lot of our chances got created. Was, I think the second goal they put, I was just watching it before, and the commentator said Fulham had just put 25 passes together or something, and then Richarlison won the ball, passed it off, ran onto it, passed it off again, and goal for Calvert-Lewin, I think it was. Well, that might have been for Decore's goal, but anyway. That's definitely what he brings to the team, and I think it unsettles defenders and doesn't allow them to do like what Southampton did to us, where they, 40 odd passes around their back line and sucking us higher and higher up the field. So it was, quite obvious to me in that first half exactly what he brings to the team. And I'm in love with him all over again after not seeing him play for 5 weeks.
He's brought you back.
It's going to be a very, very sad day when he leaves. Very sad day.
If let's we can dream.
Well, if we get Champions League football, why not? But it's good.
Even Europa League might be enough for him to stick around for one more season, as long as we're progressing. It might be enough for him to stick around.
And that $100 million offer comes in from Barcelona, because let's be real, Barcelona are nothing at the moment, and they lack something. And what we don't remember is he 23 or is he 24? He's still very, very young. So offer comes in from Barcelona. So he's 23. That $100 million offer comes in from Barcelona, and we don't make the Champions League, and they do. I think it would be very, very hard for someone of his caliber to not accept that offer. And, I think Everton would probably find it really difficult to dig our heels in and not let him go for that sort of offer. And to be honest, that's what I think he's worth. We paid 50. I reckon he is definitely, if teams are paying, 70, 80 million dollars or they were nearly offering 100 for Sancho, then Richarlison's got to be worth 100.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, definitely. So let's get on to the second half. I'm just going to say it. What went wrong? How do we go from that to how we were in the second? They just pressed us. They had the ball. They were doing that 1-2 touch. Was it just their substitutions coming on and just amplifying and changing the game plan and stuff? Nick?
Well, I think it was an element of a lot of different things. I think, their substitutions worked. I think Loftus-Cheek was a big threat and really disrupted us. Put himself around. He's a good player, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I'm almost a bit surprised that he's ended up at Fulham and not even starting. I also think, I know it's a bit of an excuse, but I think our three best players who are, well, apart from Dean, Alan, Rodriguez and Richarlison, they're probably our three best players. And they've been in South America until up to Thursday. So I think that their fatigue is going to be a thing. I mean, if you think about when you travel, 14, 15-hour flight, you're not yourself for a week, or not 100% anyway. And these are high-performing athletes, and so their percentage drop is going to affect them. And I think that was definitely a factor. Other than that, I think it's just Jekyll and Hyde. Everton, we look like relegation fodder at times, and we look like Champions League contenders at others. And I think we were just poor. I think Fulham did well. I think just the start we made to the second half got our heads, I don't know, down or a little bit anxious, and then we stopped. We stopped playing 3-yard passes, and it was like watching Everton under Ronald Koeman towards the end. Really, really terrible. I think Fulham are actually a decent footballing side as well, so we have to give credit to them. They played some good football, and we just won at the races. And just quickly, the penalty incident as well. We got very lucky.
That was really odd.
Comical penalty, and Fulham just they have a nightmare with them. But then once we get that bit of luck, and you think, okay, we've sort of ridden the storm a little bit. They come back, and I'd just like to talk about the goal that actually got scored, a couple of minutes later after the penalty. I actually think, and I quite like the guy, but I actually think Mina again needs to take responsibility for it. It might be a little bit harsh, but he turns his back and he turns his sort of leg and his ankle towards it, and it's actually hits that ankle that's sort of turned at an angle, which deflects it into the goal. Whereas if he stands still, he's blocking that shot, because it wasn't a good strike by Loftus-Cheek.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. It wasn't. In fact, I don't know how close to Pickford it could have been, or could have been cleared by someone else. But if he stands up to it, he's clearing it. And I think him just turning his back again at a time where he didn't need to has just affected the ball in such a way that it goes in. So I think he has to take responsibility there. But I think in the end we were lucky to get a win. Like, I think Fulham did more than enough in that game to get a point. But then again, an away win in the Premier League is always a great result. So I think once we are disappointed and it's a bit deflating, I think that we can be very pleased that we've gone there and picked up 3 points.
Because that was like one thing while watching it. Like, it was very like you were saying. I think before we recorded that, like, you couldn't watch the second half, like was it just the intensity of the game and stuff? Yeah,
I really did.
That's how I was feeling as well. I was just like, man, like, how am I going to sleep if we screw this up? Because I'm just, this is just insane. Like, it was just like really just too intense, and it's like, what? No.
Too intense for 1 a.m. when you're sitting there by yourself and you're trying to wind down before bed.
Yeah.
And no, I couldn't watch it. It wasn't an anger thing or anything like that. It was more just I couldn't take the possibility of not winning that game after the first half.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Because I was thinking as well, Nick, like, when's the equalizer coming? It's coming. Like, I know, like, because like I'm thinking back to putting on my old Everton hat on. The equalizer's coming. It's coming. But yeah, I think once we made our substitutions, it kind of settled our midfield down. I thought Davis did quite well. He even got a block on, which was good. They can't do that again. Anyway, who are you going to move it on to, Nick?
Oh, just Chris, your turn. I'll nominate you.
I think everyone's points are really valid. I think one thing that I'm starting to see is quite a big factor across the whole Premier League is fatigue. Fatigue is massive. In most seasons, we wouldn't have played the amount of games in a row like we have. In terms of the first 5 games, we had Saturday game, Tuesday game, Saturday game, Tuesday game, Saturday game, Tuesday game, straight away. Then it was another game, then international break. So, Everton previous seasons, not everyone's going to international break. It's 70%. It is now literally every player, bar 1 or 2, international break. And, the international breaks were 2 games done. They're now 3 games. Fatigue is going to play a very, very big factor towards the latter part of the season. Good thing there's no more internationals till March. However, we got the League Cup back in December and in 2 weeks, and then FA Cup then takes hold as well. So the bulk amount of matches in such a short space of time is going to become telling.
Chris, do you worry with the Christmas and Boxing Day fixtures? Like, that's just going to be intense.
I think
December's a tough time for us.
Yeah.
That's my big worry. Had we got a pretty easy run in December, a few games where we could throw, someone like Alice Sims in for half a game, or Gordon, even some of those lesser players that haven't been around the squad, Benny Benangami and the like, that are still there or thereabouts. Branthwaite, give them some minutes. I would like to have done that, and there may come a time where we're going to have to do that.
Because you can't play DCL. Because you can't play DCL every game, right? You can't. No.
And you can't play. I think that the one good thing is Richarlison had a red card, so he's missed his games. He's going to be good now.
Yeah.
But the more games in a row they're playing, the more fatigued they're likely to be, the more chance of injury. Carlo's not going to risk someone like James, game after game after game after playing 2 games in international break, 20 minutes both games. He's not gonna do that. So squad depth I think he's going to become vital. Moving into the latter part of the season, and you could tell. James went off before he normally would. He wasn't running as much. I know he doesn't. He's not the highest work ethic player, but he was under.
He was tired. Yeah.
Iwobi dropped a little bit. Richarlison even dropped a little bit. So the fatigue was a bit of a factor. But I also think that they got a little bit complacent as well. 3-1 up. They thought it was probably going to turn into 6, or the way we were playing it was going to be a lot bigger. And then Fulham obviously got they got a kick up the arse from Scott Parker, and they come out from the start of the second half. They were on, and then you add in someone like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who, like Nick said, how he's not starting in that Fulham side. I know he had a long injury layoff, but he's a class player, and he tore us to shreds. The ball was glued to his foot the majority of the time he was on. And yes, his goal was a bit lucky, but he still scored, and it could have been more. I think you're right, Andy. Davies coming on, he did quite well for what he needed to do. He got a block in, which was good, but he didn't turn the ball over like he has in other games when he came on. He was just good with the ball, did the easy stuff, which is what you need to do when we're effectively haven't touched the ball for a lot of the half. So I will say on the penalty, I actually said to Tim at the pub, I said, he misses this. And barring the slip, he was the 3rd penalty taker for them. Mitrovic has missed penalties for them. Lookman has missed penalties. You're now giving it to the 3rd bloke.
Wow.
He's not going to be
running out of people to take him.
Yeah, the goalkeeper.
It was the first time ever I was well, obviously you can never be confident with penalties either way, but it's the first time I ever thought, oh, he's definitely going to miss this.
Was it his stance? Because his stance did look weird. He kind of was like really close to the ball, and he sort of was leaning back.
He actually didn't look like he wanted to take it as well. It was all
right. Yeah.
Imagine that. He's going, no, not me, and they're pushing him towards it like that.
Yeah. And then even when he slipped, he's looking on the ground like, and like, one of the other Fulham players is like, once he's on the ground, it's just arms on the shoulders, looking down, like what, like just shaking his head like that, like, yeah, just
another thing
bizarre.
about that penalty. Another thing about the penalty, I don't know if you guys noticed, but how small did Jordan Pickford look in that goal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just before he took the penalty, Jordan Pickford was doing this with his arms as goalies do. And I literally thought to myself at the time, I was like, he looks tiny. And I've never noticed
him doing this.
Well, yeah. Like, obviously, I watch Jordan Pickford on a weekly basis, and I know he's not the tallest of goalkeepers, but he looked tiny in that goal. And I was thinking, how is he ever going to save a penalty? He looked like a 12-year-old kid. Like, honestly, it was ridiculous. I've never looked at him that way. From a size perspective, in the goal like that, in relation to the frame, he was absolutely tiny.
It was.
Oh, we lost you there,
didn't
Chris.
want to take it, and obviously, yes, he slipped, but he missed. So overall, I think we're lucky to get away with a draw. With a win. We could have we could have drawn. So I think old Everton would have.
Definitely. Oh.
Take the 3 points. It's another away win. It's got rid of our 3 losses in a row. No more internationals till March, so maybe we can go on a bit of a run. Tim, what did you think?
Yeah, look, I don't have as much to say about the second half as I did about the first. Really, for me, I think it was fatigue. The guys that were doing really well in the first half were quite obviously knackered in the second half. Richarlison came off around 60, I think. James came off. They were just knackered, and that's more than understandable. I do think though, Yerry Mina now seems to be giving away goals on a weekly basis, and I think he's kind of getting away from it, with it from our fan base, because he's such a lovely guy and he wears his heart on his sleeve and he works hard. But if those were the same, if Pickford made those errors, everyone would be baying for his blood again. So I do think it might be time for him to have a little spell. So we've got Godfrey there, we've got Holgate there. It's not like we don't have depth of central defenders. It's not like we need Mina every game. He also came back from Colombia after getting a red card in their game. And Ancelotti was asked about that and said, look, I know he makes mistakes, but so do all footballers, and I have faith in him. But I'd be surprised if that faith wasn't wavering, because really both goals could be blamed on Yerry Mina from the weekend.
Because he missed the game against United, he obviously got taken out for Holgate. I thought, Holgate's going to be the one. So he once again came on, conceded a goal and or 2 effectively.
Yeah.
So I think I think you're spot on there, Tim. I think that he probably could be looking like, if Holgate's fit and ready to go, then I think Holgate probably goes into that team next week and Mina gets a rest. Even Branthwaite, we haven't had Branthwaite yet for the season, so maybe he's going to get a little bit of a run in as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, look, other than that, really, it was elation at halftime and relief at full time, I guess.
Yeah.
But as we've all said, 3 points away from home, nothing to sneeze at, and as we said, just a tale of 2 halves, really.
Yeah. We'll get quickly everyone's man of the match. For me, I think from that first half, I was really going to give it to Alan. I thought Alan was fantastic. That tackle he did, and he got on the ground and still got the ball and made a pass. I thought that was outstanding. But then second half happened. It kind of changed things. But yeah, for me, I'm going to give mine to DCL. I thought the 2 goals, his hold-up play was really good. He was still trying to create things and assist the midfield by holding up the play and stuff. So yeah, he's mine. Tim.
I know everyone would be expecting me to say Iwobi, and it was a tight race. But I'm going to go with Dean. I think playing as playing as left wing back really suited him. He defended well. He got forward. As we know, he provided 2 assists. But I think when I looked at the key passes, he had 5 key passes for the game. So it wasn't just the assists. He was constantly releasing players into space. So yeah, Dean for mine in his first game as captain. Nick.
Yeah, so I'll go for Richarlison. Personally, I think you could shortlist it down to, based purely on the first half, Dean, Iwobi, Richarlison, DCL and Alan, probably with the standout performers. But yeah, I think Richarlison, just because I think he's everything that we've been missing. He's a narky little so-and-so, and I just love him to bits. And I'm just so happy that he's back, and I just hope he never leaves. Chris, what about you?
I echo what Tim said. I think it was all about Luca Dean. That we all know his quality is there, and we know he's got the pace and the ability to track and run up all day. So I think he showed us why he got given the captain's armband, because he has been there or thereabouts and probably deserved it over someone like Sigurdsson quite often. And what I found pretty telling was Sigurdsson came on and he didn't get given the armband, which is, normally that's what happened. He'll go and get it, but it didn't happen. So I think that's a real telling sign and probably a good thing. Maybe not having that extra responsibility could help Sigurdsson. Didn't in this match, but hopefully moving forward it can. But Luka Dean was quality again. I think DCL was pretty close. The lad's turning into something, scores every game effectively. It's been a long time since we've had an Everton forward score this many goals so early. In fact, it's probably been this long since we've had an Everton forward that's scored 10 or more goals in a season. It's been, other than the Lukaku years.
Yelovich might be the last one.
Yeah.
Lukaku.
Oh, God, how could I forget Rom? Yeah. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Pretty lean on since him. So, kudos to him. And I think a lot needs to be said about his emergence. He's now one of the best forwards in the Premier League, and hopefully he can keep it going.
Definitely. And with that, we're going into halftime. All right, and we're back. So let's talk about the next game we've got coming up, and that is Leeds United. At Goodison at 4:30 in the morning for us over here. This for me, this could go any way. Really. It could be a 4-3, a 5-4, a 7-4. Who knows? But yeah, I'm confident. It's at home. It's at the Goods. Surely, we're able to keep this momentum going. I'm just trying to think any changes. He might. I think he'll definitely do what you were saying, Chris. I think Mina will definitely come out, and Holgate will come back in. I can't see any other changes in that unless Coleman's better, but probably. I don't know. Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, I think Mina could probably come out for Holgate, but I don't think there'll be many changes, and we'll see if Coleman will probably slot back in at right back and probably switch back to a four at the back. I think Leeds are similar to us, maybe not with the same quality, but they're a good footballing side with defensive frailties. So I think it could be a good game. They've got some really good players. That Klitsch is a really good player in the middle of the park. And Bamford as well, who surprised everyone this year, because I think he had all the promise, and then he went to Palace and he went to Norwich and didn't really do anything. Did okay at Middlesbrough and seems to have really found some form. And he's a dangerous player, and he could have had another few goals against Arsenal if it had gone his way. So I think he's going to be a real danger, and I think we'll concede in this game, because that's what we do at the moment. But I also think that they're there for the taking. They're not a great side, certainly defensively, and I'll be expecting Fully to go into this game and win. Although I don't know if everyone shares my confidence. Chris, what about you?
I think Leeds are Leeds, and having no fans makes this a little bit easier because they're the type of team that comes to Goodison with their fans, and for the first 5 minutes they come at us and our fans get on our back. So
yeah,
I'm glad for this one there is no fans. But I echo what you said about Bamford. He could have scored a hat-trick against Arsenal. He hit the crossbar, he fluffed one, and he had a really good save for another one. So I definitely think that Mina will get a rest, because Bamford and Mina together are probably the two they're going to clash, and I think Mina could become a bit of a liability in that regard. So I wouldn't be surprised if Holgate's thrown back in for that. But this is a danger game. I think it's going to be a lot of goals. Leeds have scored a lot of goals, but also conceded a lot, much like ourselves. So I'm thinking that we get the chocolates, but in a high-scoring, very free-flowing game of football, and I think that sort of suits us, that game. The free-flowing end-to-end gives James more space.
Yeah.
Obviously, the more space he gets, the better he is to utilise the quality he's got. So I'm looking for I think we should win. Let's just hope that we can build on the momentum that we have obviously kick-started again. So Tim, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, it's a very interesting one. for starters, I couldn't tell you how we line up. I mean, does Carlo think that the three at the back was successful because we got a win? And, you know, we've all sort of said the second half meltdown, for lack of a better term, was mostly due to fatigue, we think. And so, you know, take Yerry Mina out, throw Holgate in there. Does he go in with the same lineup? I feel like that a big reason for that lineup was not trusting Kenny at right back, but also not wanting Gomez or Sigurdsson in the starting 11, which is understandable considering how poor they've been in pretty much every game they've played. So, I mean, look, if Coleman's fit, I would still not be confident that we'll go back to a back four. But yeah, definitely agree with what everyone's saying. I think this will be a goal fest. We're going to concede. I say that every week, and every week it's true. You know, at the moment, when we have all our important attacking players available, we're able to outscore opposition as we did this week. But you know, the 3 weeks prior to that, with Richarlison not in and James in and out, and you know, that scoring dried up a little bit. So, you know, provided everyone's fit and healthy, I think we win. But I think there's definitely goals in this game. And yeah, not only Bamford against Arsenal, Leeds as a whole could have probably had 6 goals past them. I think they hit the woodwork 3 or 4 times in that game. So they've definitely got an attacking threat. And our defence is not, you know, it's not great at the moment. We have to be honest. And to be honest, you know, if we keep outscoring people, I'm not too fussed. At least our games are enjoyable to watch. They're exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, probably more so for a neutral if you're, you know, 3-2 up in the last 20 minutes. But I was just actually having a look while we were talking. The last time we played Leeds was actually in 2004, and it finished 1-1, and Rooney scored for us. And
that was at Ellen Road, wasn't it?
Sorry,
Ellen Road.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and Milner scored for Leeds with an assist from Mark Viduka. So that's how long it's been since
long time.
How long it's been since Leeds has been in the Premier League, really. So yeah, obviously not a lot of recent matches against each other to go off. But I'd highly doubt if this one is 1-1. I'd be very surprised. So yeah, I think it'll be goals, and I'm hoping we win. But honestly, I'll be guessing right up until 3:30, you know, Saturday night, Sunday morning, as to what our lineup's actually going to be. But if Carlo certainly does seem to be taking the line of, if you have a bad game, you don't play the next week. You know, he's dropped Pickford, he's dropped Gomez, he's dropped Sigurdsson, he's dropped Iwobi, Bernard, all at different times of the season. So I think Mina has to be dropped, I think. So if it's a back four and Holgate's not fit, then it'll just be Godfrey and Keane in there. But as I said, we do have plenty of options there. And yeah. So yeah, just goals. I have no idea who will start, how we'll line up, or
goals and a win.
Yeah, I just know there's going to be goals, and hopefully we win.
Fair enough. Now, during our little halftime thing, we got something introduced to us by Nick. For Christmas coming up.
So we've already put our Christmas tree up really early. I know we're going away next weekend, and you know, we just want to, because we've been in lockdown, we just want to I guess get in the Christmas spirit and that sort of thing. And for me as well, having Christmas in summer is still really weird, even though it is my second Christmas. I just want to make myself feel better. So we bought a star for our tree, and unfortunately it's too heavy. It kind of sort of falls off, so that's not worked. So I've got this to go at the top. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed at the moment, but she can't guard it forever. So I'm going to get it. And I'll let you know how it all goes.
Fantastic.
Can't wait to see a photo with Carlo Ancelotti on top of your tree, mate. Even if it is
I think I could have done him a bit more justice and got a colour printer.
It's still good, mate. It's still good.
Yeah, you can still. If anything, he looks even better, like a classic Italian mafia boss.
That's right.
In black and white. So, I thought it was for artistic impression. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. Hopefully we see a photo soon, mate, of Ancelotti on top of the tree. Yeah. Even if it is only there for a few seconds before the missus takes it down.
Guard it with your life.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thanks, guys. Great show. Hope everyone enjoyed that. You can catch us on all our socials on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Come on, you Blues. Leeds this weekend. We can do it. Come on. Thanks, guys.
Come on, you Blues. See you guys.